Memorizing words can be tough. Not only is it a bit of a brain drain, but it can take way longer to memorize a script than to just riff, especially when it comes to sponsored reads. And in this industry, time is money. But there is a solution out there so that you can still be concise and intentional with your word choice without spending hours trying to remember the order you wanted to say something in. And as of today, you've got an option that means you don't have to sacrifice on video quality to get a great result. Don't believe me? Then let me show you. So I've been using teleprompters for years now, because a lot of the videos that I make for other companies have loads of technical mumbo jumbo in them that I cannot afford to mess up. They also save me a ton of time, and I've even started using it on client shoots when there is a script to follow or bullet points to help keep the speaker on track of where they are. However, in all my years of using my teleprompter, I've had one pretty massive gripe. See, very few of the commercially available teleprompters let you use filters on your lenses. And when you're shooting outdoors, like I was a few seconds ago, filters are essential to make sure you can really dial in your exposure. You see, that is where this comes in. This new teleprompter from Smallrig solves the issue by building the prompter into a matte box and giving you multiple options on how you can dial in that exposure, all while protecting your camera and lenses in the process. Now, before we go any further, I have a quick disclaimer to make. Smallrig did not send me this teleprompter. I bought it with my own money, which obviously means I'll be giving my honest thoughts on how it works and whether I think it's worth it or not. Secondly, I've had this particular teleprompter for about a month now, and if you are debating buying one for yourself to use in a studio setup with controlled lighting, then there are definitely cheaper, simpler options out there, which I will link to below this video. All that being said, this teleprompter ticks nearly all the boxes for how I want to use it, so let's break it down and show you why I think it's a good purchase if you are in the market. So, firstly, why did I buy a teleprompter if I have a perfectly functioning one just sitting on my camera already? And in short, it's because I'm a blind idiot. You see, I currently own the Tadgh version 2. It's designed to be lightweight, portable, and quick to set up and break down. You see, I shoot a lot around the city and in the wilderness of BC, so I thought that this was going to be the solution to all my problems. Alas, I was wrong. You see, the biggest issue that I have with the Tadgh and most direct on-camera teleprompters is that they screw a mounting bracket thing straight onto the lens. The Tadgh uses this one, a flat on one side and threaded on the other. This thin piece of metal does two things very badly. It kind of strips the threads on the front of your lens, or at least it has with my Sigma 16-28, but not only that, it also means that you can't actually use certain circular ND filters while filming. So if you want to keep the whole 180-degree shutter rule, you gotta crank up your aperture to compensate. A very obvious issue if I had spent 2 minutes reading the description on Amazon, or didn't spend $500 on variable ND filters from Peter McKinnon. Anywho's, the Smallrig teleprompter solved that problem and more by making its mounting point to the camera be this small adapter, which screws into the prompter and is supported by two 50mm rods. Then all you have to do is slide on a rubber hood over your lens, letting you put whatever circular ND filter you want on the front. It's also built so that it can take rectangular filters from matte boxes by pulling out this tray, allowing multiple options to nail your exposure. Is there a downside to this? Yes, for sure. I have variable NDs, which means I have to remove the box every time I want to change the strength of the ND, but Smallrig seem to have thought of this ahead of time because you can actually pop off the portion of the teleprompter quickly to access your lens, or, God forbid, have to clean the teleprompter glass. Smart thinking. The other problem this teleprompter solves for me is that I am blind. Now, not legally or anything, I just have bad eyesight.
I couldn't, because I'm blind.
But that means that this tiny teleprompter can be difficult to see at a distance. And so I find myself letting a cheap $100 piece of plastic dictate what lens I should be using when I'm shooting. And that is a big content no-no.
No! God, please, no!
Obviously, the Smallrig teleprompter is bigger, so that problem is, well, less of a problem. However, that also means some additional expenses, and like the esteemed Notorious B.I.G. once said, more money, more problems. Remember when I said that reading the description of the desk view before I bought it could have saved me some headaches? Well, it turns out that I did read the description for the Smallrig teleprompter and just flat out ignored what it said on the website. You see, the Smallrig listing clearly states that the device is not compatible with smartphones. There it is, plain and simple. I, however, thought, how bad could it be? My phone is a Max version. I'm sure it's fine. Spoiler alert, it was not fine. See, when I tried setting up the teleprompter using my smartphone as the prompting device, it was kind of shit, which prompted me, see what I did there, to go out and buy an iPad. Okay, I know I did not need to go and buy the latest iPad Air to make this thing work, but I did, and I have no regrets, other than my credit card statement. But it works really well now, and if you already own a tablet, then that won't be an issue for you, will it? That being said, tablet or not, there is something that this device is clearly trying to get you to buy, and that is rods. 15mm rods to be exact. You see, cameras these days are getting rigged out with base plates and monitors and top handles and whatnot, and it can make these tools super functional and versatile, but also super expensive. Two small 15mm rods and a base plate to attach to your camera and support said rods is going to set you back an additional load of dollars. More if you want to buy a cage so as to give you other mounting options. This teleprompter thing is not really entry-level friendly in that sense. Now, all that being said, one thing it does do surprisingly well, based on its size, is... Yes, the Smallrig teleprompter is actually pretty light. And when you mount it using these 15mm rods that we spoke about earlier, very secure, without putting any additional weight onto your lens or body. This is a huge difference to the desk view, which makes your whole rig extremely front heavy. Also, the Smallrig teleprompter comes in this cool little carry case with a foam and glass protector thing, which, while bigger than the desk view, does feel more portable and protected. I've even gone a bit rogue and had this whole rig shoulder mounted with a videographer recording in the wild, and while it's not light per se, it's still very portable. Side note, the tablet you ultimately use may dictate that more obviously. This little one that I'm using is about £1, so yeah, use your common sense on that one. Now, price is where this whole teleprompter thing starts looking less appealing for Smallrig, and why I think, unless you really want to upgrade your gear with rods and base plates that you probably don't need just yet, this is going to be too expensive for you. To me, it's worth it because of how I shoot currently and how I plan to shoot in the future. But that doesn't mean that you need to stress yourself out to afford this particular model when there are literally thousands of versions available for cheaper and don't require more gear to make them work. So, in conclusion, should you go out and spend your hard-earned money on a Smallrig teleprompter over something like the Desk View 2 or Model 3, which I think is coming soon? In my opinion, if you already have the rods and the base plate and the variable ND filters or rectangular box filters, then definitely this is something worth thinking about. It allows you to dial in your exposure exactly how you want it without jeopardizing your aperture. That being said, in a controlled setting, the Desk View version 2, possibly 3, will hold up on its own. And who knows, maybe that threading of the screw was just an issue with my particular lens or my particular Desk View. Either way, I am very, very happy that I bought the Smallrig model, least of all because I'm also able to actually see the thing. And just for all you who are interested how you can actually view it outside and if it is visible, take a quick look at this video that I shot earlier to show you just that. I've even gone a bit rogue and had this whole thing shoulder mounted with a videographer recording as we're out in the wild. So yeah, they're my thoughts. In conclusion, teleprompters are great. They save you time, they save you money, they help you formulate sentences better. And I'm really struggling right now without a teleprompter. So I'm going to wrap this up before I say something inflammatory and get myself cancelled on the internet. Bye.